A hush falls over the murky waters of South America's winding rivers. Beneath the surface, where light barely penetrates, a predator lurks silent, yet brimming with a force that has fascinated humans for centuries. The electric eel, long thought to be a simple, blunt instrument of nature, may be far more cunning than we ever imagined. For decades, scientists believed they merely discharged electricity in a brute, all-or-nothing strike to stun their prey. But recent discoveries reveal a predator of extraordinary subtlety, a hunter that blends biology with strategy in ways that challenge our understanding of evolution itself. The electric eel, Electrophorus electricus, inhabits the slow-moving waters of the Amazon and Orinoco basins. Its habitat is a shadowy labyrinth of submerged roots, tangled vegetation, and dark silt where visibility is minimal and every ripple carries information. In these waters, sensory perception is not just an advantage, it is a lifeline. The eel's body, long and serpentine, can reach nearly 10 feet in length, its muscular form undulating through the water with a predator's grace. Yet it is not its size that makes it formidable. It is the electric organ, a marvel of evolutionary engineering, capable of generating bursts of energy that rival a small stun gun. Unlike most predators that rely on teeth, claws, or speed, the electric eel wields an invisible weapon. Its electric organ, comprising 3 distinct sections, the main, Hunter's, and Sachs's organs, can produce both high-voltage and low-voltage discharges. For years, research focused almost exclusively on the high-voltage bursts, assuming these were the eel's primary hunting tool. But hidden within the low-voltage currents lies a subtler, more complex form of predation. It is a form of electrocommunication, a biological radar, a hunting strategy so sophisticated that it challenges our assumptions about fish intelligence and behavior. Recent experiments have illuminated the eel's dual approach. High-voltage discharges can incapacitate prey, but low-voltage currents act almost like an extension of the eel's nervous system. They allow it to see in complete darkness, detecting the faintest movements of nearby fish or the heartbeat of small amphibians. This active sensing turns the eel into a nocturnal predator of uncanny precision. It is not merely waiting for prey to blunder into range, it is stalking, probing, testing, calculating. Each pulse is a question, each response a clue. In these murky depths, electricity becomes a language, and the eel is a master of conversation with its environment. But the story becomes even more astonishing when we examine the eel's hunting behavior in groups. For decades, electric eels were considered solitary predators, ambushing prey in isolation. Observations in the wild have begun to upend this notion. Large eels, sometimes numbering over 100, have been seen coordinating attacks on shoals of fish. With low-voltage discharges, they herd their quarry, forcing fish into compact schools. Then, with high-voltage bursts, they strike in unison, delivering a collective shock that stuns or kills multiple targets simultaneously. The implication is staggering. Social hunting, once thought to be the domain of wolves, orcas, and certain birds, now extends deep into the murky waters of the Amazon. Even more surprising is the eel's ability to use electricity tactically on larger animals. Reports describe eels striking creatures far bigger than themselves, capybaras, caimans, and even humans, in a series of precise bursts. The intent appears not to kill outright, but to manipulate movement. A stunned leg, a thrashing tail. These are not random acts of aggression, but controlled applications of force. It is as if the eel can orchestrate the river itself, turning its environment into a responsive hunting ground. For scientists, these behaviors raise profound questions about cognition in non-mammalian predators. How does an organism, devoid of hands or vocalization, wield such complex tactics with apparent intent? Biologically, the electric eel's design is a testament to evolutionary ingenuity. The organs that produce electricity are modified muscle cells, known as electrocytes, stacked like batteries in a living circuit. These cells depolarize in synchrony, releasing bursts of energy into the surrounding water. High-voltage pulses can exceed 600 volts, enough to incapacitate a small horse or send a human reeling. Low-voltage currents, in contrast, are more subtle, but no less remarkable. They serve as both a sensory system and a form of preemptive hunting, allowing the eel to map its surroundings and anticipate the behavior of potential prey. It is a living example of convergent evolution, a fusion of biology and physics that blurs the line between predator and machine. The electric eel's hunting precision is further enhanced by its behavior outside the water. During the dry season, rivers retreat and pools shrink. Prey becomes concentrated, but oxygen levels drop, creating perilous conditions. Eels have adapted by developing the ability to breathe air using a specialized vascularized mouth. By breaking the surface every few minutes, they extract oxygen directly from the atmosphere, allowing them to survive in hypoxic water. This adaptation transforms the eel into a patient predator, able to linger in stagnant pools, stalking trapped fish with the patience of a lioness in the savanna. Evolution has crafted not merely a killer, but a strategist, perfectly attuned to the rhythms of its environment. Scientific inquiry into these creatures has revealed a hidden layer of complexity in their interactions with other species. Certain fish, such as tetras and catfish, have developed behaviors that appear to mitigate the eel's electrical attacks. Some species leap from the water when sensing low-voltage signals, while others huddle together in tight formations to diffuse the shock. Even semi-aquatic mammals, like capybaras, seem to recognize the danger, using subtle postures and careful movement to avoid direct contact. Here, the electric eel is not merely a predator, but a central figure in a living web of behavioral evolution. Its presence drives adaptations across species, shaping an ecosystem in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. Yet, despite decades of study, mysteries remain. How does the eel control the strength and frequency of its discharges with such precision? What neural mechanisms enable it to coordinate group hunting, seemingly without spoken signals or visual cues? Some researchers speculate that there may be a form of collective awareness, a distributed intelligence mediated through the water itself. Others suggest that we have only scratched the surface of electrocommunication, that these pulses carry nuanced information akin to language. Every discovery, every observation opens new questions, drawing us deeper into the secretive world of these electric hunters. Even the eel's evolutionary history hints at the long, patient shaping of its abilities. Fossil evidence suggests that ancestors of the modern electric eel diverged from other knifefish tens of millions of years ago. Over time, selective pressures favored increased electrical output, enhanced air-breathing capabilities, and refined sensory perception. The eel's current form represents an accumulation of incremental innovations, a mosaic of adaptations that render it simultaneously alien and familiar. In evolutionary terms, it is a reminder that complexity does not always emerge from intellect alone. It can arise from relentless trial, error, and environmental interaction. As the sun sets over the Amazon, the eel becomes almost ghostly, its form barely discernible in the dark water. Its hunting grounds transform into a stage for drama, tension, and strategy. Each low-voltage pulse probes the water, a question asked of the world. Each high-voltage strike answers with force. It is a predator that commands attention not through sheer size or ferocity, but through the subtle orchestration of energy, space, and timing. To witness it is to glimpse a mind at work, biological, electrical, and profoundly enigmatic. And yet, for all we have learned, the electric eel retains an air of the unknowable. Its abilities challenge our assumptions about what it means to be a predator, to be intelligent, and to interact with the world through senses foreign to our own. We have misjudged it, underestimated it, and simplified it for our convenience. Only now are we beginning to appreciate the full measure of its ingenuity, the sophistication of its hunting, and the delicate balance it maintains within its ecosystem. In the depths of the Amazon, the electric eel waits, reminding us that nature still holds secrets that defy our understanding. As night deepens over the Amazon, the waters shimmer with unseen currents, each pulse of electricity a whisper in the dark. The electric eel, nature's living circuit, continues its silent patrol. Its body coils and stretches with fluid precision, a predator shaped by millions of years of evolution, yet full of behaviors we are only beginning to decipher. In this world, where vision is limited and movement can mean life or death, electricity is both sword and compass, weapon and guide. The eel's hunting strategies extend beyond brute force. Observations have revealed a pattern of ambush that is as psychological as it is physical. In narrow channels and floodplain pools, the eel will approach its prey slowly, often in shallow water, using low-voltage pulses to subtly manipulate the nervous systems of nearby fish. These currents can trigger involuntary muscle twitches, effectively herding prey into corners or forcing them into panic-driven jumps. Some fish, startled into leaping above the surface, fall back into the water stunned, a simple, elegant solution that maximizes hunting efficiency while conserving energy. This behavioral sophistication was once considered impossible in a fish, yet the eel executes it with repeated consistency. Perhaps even more astounding is the eel's ability to hunt cooperatively. In rare and carefully documented instances, large aggregations of eels have been observed encircling schools of fish. With each member generating low-voltage pulses, the group essentially corrals its prey, guiding the school into tight clusters. When the time is right, high-voltage discharges are released in rapid succession, delivering a coordinated shockwave that incapacitates multiple fish at once. This is a form of social predation, reminiscent of pack hunting in wolves or dolphins, yet mediated entirely through electrical signals. Scientists are left grappling with profound questions. How do eels communicate intentions? Is there a leadership structure, or is this coordination an emergent property of shared biology? The eel's anatomy supports these feats in remarkable ways. Its elongated body is densely packed with electrocytes, each capable of precise depolarization. The main organ produces the high-voltage bursts used to incapacitate, while the Sax's organ handles low-voltage sensing. But what has recently intrigued researchers is the hunter's organ, previously thought redundant. Studies now indicate that it may play a role in fine-tuning pulses during complex hunting maneuvers. In essence, the electric eel has multiple tools for multiple purposes: hunting, navigation, and communication. Such multifunctionality hints at an evolutionary intelligence, an organism shaped not only to survive, but to manipulate its environment with strategic precision. The behavioral adaptations of the electric eel extend even to its interactions with terrestrial animals. When submerged creatures like caimans or capybaras enter shallow waters, the eel can deliver selective shocks, influencing movement rather than delivering lethal force. Witness accounts describe capybaras lifting a limb after a controlled discharge or fleeing a pool without apparent injury. These encounters suggest that the eel's behavior is not purely reactive. It is capable of graduated responses, modulating voltage depending on prey size, distance, and resistance. In this light, the eel emerges as a predator not of chaos, but of calculation. Evolutionary history provides context for these astonishing capabilities. Fossil records and phylogenetic analysis trace the lineage of electric knifefish back more than 60 million years. Over this immense span, selective pressures in murky, oxygen-poor waterways favored innovations in electrical generation, air breathing, and predatory tactics. The ability to sense, incapacitate, and manipulate prey through electricity represents the culmination of countless incremental adaptations, a biological equivalent of engineering shaped by survival pressures rather than conscious design. The eel, in its silent mastery of electricity, embodies the principle that evolution is not merely a process of survival, but of optimization within extreme environments. Within its ecosystem, the electric eel plays a pivotal role. It regulates populations of fish, maintains the balance between predator and prey, and even influences the behaviors of semi-aquatic mammals. Certain species of catfish, for example, have evolved electrical resistance to low-voltage currents, giving them a survival advantage. Others employ coordinated schooling patterns that reduce the risk of incapacitation. Here, the electric eel becomes more than a hunter. It is an evolutionary architect, shaping the community dynamics of its habitat. Its presence drives behavioral innovation across multiple species, illustrating the deep interwoven connections within these complex ecosystems. Yet, for all we understand, the electric eel harbors secrets that continue to defy explanation. How does it calibrate the timing and intensity of its discharges with such precision? What neurological mechanisms allow group hunting to occur without visual or vocal cues? Is there a form of memory or learning embedded in these electrical patterns, enabling the eel to refine its hunting tactics over time? Scientists are beginning to explore the possibility that these pulses carry encoded information, a primitive yet sophisticated form of communication akin to language. If true, this would rewrite our understanding of intelligence in aquatic predators, revealing a cognitive landscape far richer than previously imagined. Intriguingly, the eel's low-voltage pulses are not solely utilitarian, they also serve social purposes. Experiments indicate that eels may use electrical signaling to establish territories, court mates, or even recognize individual conspecifics. The electrical language of the eel is subtle, nuanced, and potentially multilingual, conveying information that human senses are barely equipped to detect. It is a reminder that the natural world often operates on principles completely foreign to our perception, and that our assumptions about simplicity or primitiveness can mask profound complexity. This duality, predator and communicator, is mirrored in the eel's life cycle. Young eels hatch in slow-moving streams, initially relying on instinctive hunting and low-voltage exploration. As they mature, their electrical organs develop, enabling higher voltage discharges and more sophisticated strategies. In adulthood, eels become formidable hunters, capable of manipulating both prey and peers, and influencing entire communities. Their journey from vulnerable hatchling to apex predator underscores the interplay between physiology, environment, and learned behavior, a narrative of growth, adaptation, and survival written in electricity. Even human encounters with electric eels reveal their strategic sophistication. Indigenous communities have long reported that eels are capable of targeting specific limbs during attacks, delivering shocks that disable without fatality. Early scientists dismissed such claims as folklore. Now, evidence suggests these reports reflect observed behaviors, the eel's ability to deliver measured, controlled discharges based on situational assessment. This intelligence, expressed through voltage rather than voice or vision, challenges our anthropocentric notions of strategy and cunning. The eel is teaching us that intelligence can manifest in forms utterly alien to our experience. Despite our growing knowledge, the electric eel remains enigmatic. Many of its behaviors, particularly in the wild, are difficult to observe. Dense vegetation, turbid waters, and nocturnal activity obscure direct study. Yet each observation, each carefully documented experiment, reveals layers of sophistication. It is a predator that combines stealth, strategy, and sensory mastery in ways that rival terrestrial carnivores. It is a creature that defies simplification, that reminds us of the limits of human perception, and that continues to surprise even the most seasoned researchers. Perhaps the most profound lesson of all lies in the eel's capacity to manipulate energy in service of survival. It is a living conductor, a predator that wields physics as effortlessly as muscle. Its pulses shape behavior, herd prey, communicate, and even influence ecosystems. The electric eel challenges us to reconsider our definitions of intelligence, strategy, and interaction. It is a master of a realm we scarcely perceive, a silent orchestrator in the shadowed waterways of the Amazon. Its world is one of currents and voltage, where every pulse tells a story, and every discharge carries consequence. As dawn approaches and the waters begin to stir with the first light, the electric eel retreats to hidden crevices, coiled and patient, waiting for nightfall. The river returns to a fragile calm, yet beneath its surface, life is far from dormant. The eel remains a silent witness, a cunning predator, and a biological marvel that continues to intrigue and mystify. For scientists, each encounter is a reminder of the richness of the natural world, the intricate dance of evolution, and the endless mysteries that await discovery. In the end, the electric eel is more than a shock-producing anomaly. It is a testament to nature's ingenuity, an apex predator whose mastery of electricity reshapes our understanding of predation, cognition, and communication in the animal kingdom. The eel reminds us that even creatures we think we know can harbor secrets beyond imagination, and that curiosity is the key to uncovering the hidden rhythms of life. Beneath the waters of the Amazon, the electric eel pulses with energy, strategy, and mystery, a creature whose story continues to unfold, illuminating the boundless complexity of the natural world. For every high-voltage discharge, there is a question. For every low-voltage pulse, a clue. And for every discovery, an invitation to look deeper, to think differently, and to remember that in the shadowed depths, nature still writes stories we are only beginning to read. The electric eel, silent yet electric, remains both predator and teacher, challenging our assumptions, captivating our imagination, and reminding us that the frontier of discovery stretches far beyond what we can see or feel.